Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about a project where I built a simple AI to train these sorter blocks. So if you look on the screen, we have these little green blocks, and basically what they're doing is they're sorting colored blocks as they come down. We have red, blue, and green, and it's going to sort them from left, center, or right. So let's first talk about the project setup. I pretty much cloned the other AI project where I made players jump, and I'm kind of modifying that to kind of fit this model for having these gridded diagrams of these sorters. So you'll see after a while, after coding all this up, you'll see a grid of these 5x5 green blocks, and that's basically all I'm doing in this segment of code. So in this next segment of coding, I'm basically just doing a lot of refactoring, and then I also do a little bit of logic to kind of create those spawners at the top to send down blocks. So I'm still just trying to get these block spawners to drop down blocks on top of the sorters. I ran into a couple of snags during the refactoring, so this should be fixed up in just a second. So you can see here we have these blocks coming down and they're hitting the sorters, and then they are getting sent to the right. So that's basically what we need to kind of work out, is to have these sorters learn that blues need to go left, greens need to go in the center, and reds need to go to the right. And I'm just doing a simple hit detection. So when the color block hits the green sorter, we mark that block as sorted, and then we go ahead and apply a velocity in either the X positive or X negative direction. So right now I'm changing the code to pass in the color as either a 0 or a 1 into the neural network, and that is going to return us a 0 through 1, and we're kind of using that to decide, should we sort to the left or sort to the right. You can see here it's actually trying to sort left and right, and we can slowly start training these sorter objects. So what I'm working on now is basically this concept of rounds, which basically means there's going to be a round of 100 blocks that kind of come down, and if the sorter sorts it in the correct direction, we give that sorter a positive 1 in terms of its score, right? So if it keeps sorting blues to the left, that means it's doing good, we give it 1 point. If it sorts the reds to the right, it's just doing good, we give it 1 point. So that is what I'm doing here. I'm basically just trying to implement a round system so that after 100 blocks come down, we start a new game with a new population set and keep on training until we get a good overall population. So at this point, we managed to get the rounds going. So if you notice, after 50 blocks, it will restart and drop a new set of blocks on a new generation. So these are taking quite a while to train, so I went ahead and bumped the spawn rate to be like every 200 milliseconds it spawns a block, and that should just kind of speed this stuff up. Finally, I'm going to be working on adding the green block. So now we have red, blue, and green, which means the sorters need to sort left, center, and right. And that is currently what I'm working on. I'm just trying to add a new block, which means there's a new range that can be passed into the neural network and a new output that we need to check for from the neural network. So after running this through a couple of generations, I'm noticing that it's not really training that well, so I decided to try to bump the generation or the mutation rate a little bit lower, and also to reduce the elitism, because I think that was causing issues with it being able to train properly. And you can see here, it's now running, and after a couple of generations, you'll start to notice that it went from just like 1 or 2 sorting in all directions to the entire population is now sorting left, right, and center. So let's just kind of look at this. I think the top left at this point is sorting correctly. You can see that it has 3 outputs. And then after a couple more generations, you'll notice that all the other sorter blocks will start to follow in suit. Right, and there's usually 1 or 2 that go back or regress to sorting just 2 directions. And that's because of that whole mutation where the genome will be mutated a little bit to try new combinations to see if there's a better solution. But for the most part, they're all pretty much sorting how we want. And I think this is the end of this project. So be sure to like and subscribe if you like this video, and give me any feedback if there's ways I can improve my video editing or improve my content, or if you have ideas of new things I could do. All right, thank you so much for watching.